All right.
How's my hair? All right, we're looking good.
Dude, you look amazing.
There we go. Check my hair.
Absolutely amazing.
So if anybody has some questions pop up, we might take them there.
Cool.
You got people joining up there. You got 6 or
Hey.
7. Hang on, everybody. Just let me get all the video correct. Get us going here. What do we got here on Facebook? All right, screw it.
Are we good?
I think we're good.
Are we triple live?
we are triple live right now. So Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.
Hi, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram.
Yeah. Well, give me some changes, or give me a tune you want to play. Something simple, something easy.
You want to try that Sitting on Top of the World in G?
Sure, I'll follow
Okay.
you.
So it'd be like Mississippi River, big and wide. My sweetheart baby, she's on the other side. Now she's gone, slowly running, and I don't worry none about it. Mom's sitting on my
I got you.
Dallas and El Paso. My sweetheart baby, she loved me so. Now she's gone, I don't worry none about it. Mom's sitting on top of the Told me she loved me, it broke my heart.
Did she?
That little baby, should have seen it from the start. She's gone, but I can't worry none about it, Mama, 'cause I'm sitting on top of the world.
Take one. Sorry about that. Take another one.
Oh man, I'm terrible. Sorry, live world.
Oh, you're perfect. I got lost in there for a second too. Like I was telling you before, bluegrass, like that kind of picking, is literally my favorite stuff, but I never get to play it.
I've noticed you did like this real relaxed thing after your lines where you actually took your hand off the like you would play a lick and then take your hand off the guitar for a second and like breathe and like maybe like focus or read.
So
That's really cool. I've never seen anybody do that before.
really,
Yeah.
you know what? That's
Because usually bluegrass is just go go go.
yeah.
Like it's like solo, brrr, and it's like that moment of rest you took that like really stood out to me as being.
You know what? That is an incredible compliment. You know, space being what stands out to you.
Yeah.
And so I always find, I always like to strike that balance between playing lick-based stuff and, you know, voice-based stuff that people can remember.
Yeah.
You know, I always like to try to go back and forth and back and forth, like stuff that is guitar or stringed instrument centric versus stuff that like, you know, gets stuck in your head, like vocal lines.
Yeah.
And I find when I
that's funny.
finish leads on vocal lines, it's always best to let it die off like a voice would.
That's so.
Does that make sense to you?
It does, because my favorite guitar player in the world is Derek Trucks.
Yes,
And
he is probably my favorite guitar
And
player in the
He
world.
does similar. Like I can tell that he's like doing something similar. I
Yeah.
never thought about it that way
Yeah,
until you like vocalized it. But I can tell his approach is more like a vocal line, and
Yeah.
that you're obviously like when you're singing, you have to breathe.
yeah,
So you can't just sing like on. You know, you have to take that minute to stop, and then it's like creating a natural phrase.
yeah,
Where I feel like in bluegrass, and I've played so much bluegrass with so many people, they're just like, oh, let's fit like 600 notes into this solo, right here. And
Well,
well,
the one thing about bluegrass, or just acoustic music in general, that I find is so liberating is that if you can get yourself with some players that have really good time, you shouldn't try to match where they're coming in. You know what I mean? Like you really, people that do it really, really well, there's an incredible amount of space and breathing within the lines, even if they're really quick.
That's true.
Like if I'm finishing a line, I should let you pick up that beat.
Yeah.
There's just something about this style of music that lends itself to that because everybody's playing percussion.
Yeah.
There's no drummer.
Yes.
And so if you're supposed to be coming in on the
right,
maybe a lot of the times I'll come in with it. And let you keep taking it. Like when everybody's playing percussion,
I love that.
Yeah, when everybody's playing percussion, you really got to make sure you're not stepping on anybody.
That's interesting. I never thought about. That's like such an interesting. When I played so much bluegrass, I've never had this conversation. It's very cool.
Well, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Well, howdy, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Wednesday. Happy New Year. I know I haven't been on since the holidays. I've been taking some family time, but I'm here today with Kenny Liner, and I've been watching you play since you were in the Bridge since I was, I don't know, man, how many years, but you were actually the first dude in town that I ever really saw play the mandolin, especially the electric mandolin.
And still the only one, right?
Are you still the only one?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, maybe there's like unknown cats out there, but if someone knows anybody, that'd be awesome. But I don't think any. I think the electric mandolin is like slowly dying.
But it shouldn't though, because it has seared a memory in my mind. Because I remember, going to like the Wrecker and Towson and like all those places and just, getting, obliterated, having an amazing time. And, and I always remember, just you standing on, I guess that stage right, you were over here and, just on the electric mandolin, just crushing it. And I always thought you were a great player. So this is a real treat to have you on.
Thank you. I'm a terrible player. So you must have been drinking an awful lot.
Well, it was high school.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I never, I didn't choose the mandolin. I was in a band and I played drums and I went to practice one day and they said, not your fault, but we want to be an acoustic band.
Yeah, not your fault.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I play drums. What am I going to do? And the guy was like, oh, well, in an acoustic band, the mandolin is the drums. Yeah. And I was like, what? What's a mandolin? So, he gave me one that his grandfather gave him that was like horrible, it didn't even work, but we became an acoustic band. It was a terrible band. But that's I didn't know how that's kind of how it came to me. It was certainly not like a one day, like I didn't wake up and go, oh, I'm going to play mandolin. And then also with the electric mandolin, I was playing with people playing electric guitar, and you can't, the power of electric guitar.
Sure.
Especially Chris Jacobs in the Bridge.
Chris Jacobs is awesome. Man.
Yeah, he's
a fan for
a shredder, and he cranks up. So I just started playing electric mandolin just so I could make sure I wasn't playing
compete.
Or not even compete. I just wanted to make sure I'd be playing notes. I'd be like, "Is my mandolin? Am I even playing the right?" I could hear.
Yeah.
On stage, I'd be like, I hope I'm playing the right notes right now or the right chords, because I just couldn't even hear. And then, so it wasn't a competing thing. It was like I just needed to hear to make sure I was not messing up.
Sure.
But it wound up. Yeah, we've been formed the Bridge and had a nice little run, like 20, maybe like almost 20 years.
That's incredible, man. And how often do you guys get together now?
Last year we didn't play at all, and this year, or 2 years ago, we didn't play at all. And last year I think we played like 4 times, and that was like a lot.
Yeah.
So this year we're playing again at like a bluegrass festival, the Charm City Bluegrass Festival.
Yeah.
So we already have another gig coming up, which is rare. But after that, we'll probably take a break.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
Well, it's just whenever Chris is done his. I don't know how many dates he does a year, and
yeah, he's a busy guy.
yeah, he's a super busy guy.
Yeah.
Well, let's play another one, dude.
Oh man, I don't know what else to play. Do you want to try? Do you call the cards on this one? I just like to preface this by saying I don't get to play very much, and I.
Well, no, I want you to call it because I want you to sing one.
Oh, you want me to sing one? Those are my hands. Those are rock climbing hands. Just so everyone can see. Did a nice little 2-hour rock climbing sesh last night, so my fingers are a little slow. Sing one, okay. Oh man, all the things that are coming into my head are so inappropriate. Songs.
You can go inappropriate.
No, I don't want to be too inappropriate. Also, everything's in G right now. I'm like in the G world.
I'm into it.
It is like bluegrass in G again. Is that okay?
It's the people's key.
It is the people's key. So feel a little funky G7 kind of start on the 4 and then just when I spill over, when I'm dry, gonna leave my body down by the waterside. I've been drinking when I'm high. Oh, it leave my body down by the waterside. Gonna kick the drum with the rusty shoe. Tall, gonna play the blues, nowhere to sleep and no food to eat. And I get by picking up pennies on the street corner. If I had to beg you, why? I would give it all up for just one cup of sweet and tasty pie. I spill over when I'm dry. Go and leave my body down by the waterside. Can't see straight. My boss done fired me. I'm always late. I know where to go and no money to spend. Some days that bottle is my only friend. If I had to beg you, I might give it all up for just one cup of sweet and tasty pie. I spill over when I'm dry. Go and leave my body down by the waterside. If I spill over when I'm dry, leave my body down by the waterside. And I've been drinking when I'm high. Go and leave my body down by the waterside. Go and leave my body down by the waterside. Yeah, that's one of mine actually.
Really?
Yeah,
That's a good tune.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean 1, 4, 5.
But you know what? That's all you need. Hey guys, if you're just tuning in, this is Kenny Liner, and one thing I really wanted to talk to you about is, like I prefaced the show with you, like this is really kind of a showcase for people that make a living in music and do it
Awesome.
and do it in different ways to kind of encourage all of you to know that you can do it. There's an industry out there and you can do it. And one thing
I'm doing it.
is so you have an organization called Believe in Music.
Yep.
And it's really based around the kids.
Yep.
Here in Baltimore.
Mhm.
And I really want to hear, what it's about, what you do, and also the one thing you were mentioning before, which I think is so unique, your approach, is that kids learning in grids these days.
Yeah. So I'll start from the beginning.
Please do.
And I'll go quick though. It's a quick story. After the bridge, do I look at the camera or do I look at you?
You can do either one.
Okay, I'll do like a kind of like a shift here.
That's what I do. I focus.
You're good at
Focus.
that. So I'm not as good at it. When the bridge ended, or we decided not to keep touring and banging our heads into the wall.
Yeah.
It took me about 6 months to just sort of reconfigure my life and sort of think like, well, what are my talents? Like I knew all this stuff about music and the music business and the music industry, and I had made all these contacts, but I've managed bands. I did it under a fake name. I've booked bands. I didn't really want just a music industry job. It just felt to me like not where my soul was. And I definitely didn't want to be a professional musician because I had done it. I had been on tour for 10 years at that point, and I was tired. I wanted to sleep in my own bed.
Yeah. Imagine that.
And and have some sort of semblance of a real life, or a normal life after touring so hard.
Yeah.
And after a lot of meditation, I came to the conclusion that my talents would be best used to help other kids in this journey or in this process, just like you.
Yeah.
I believe in the potential of like what music can do. Like music is such a healing, powerful thing that's saved lives. I mean, all the time you hear like music saved my life, or there was a time where all this horrible stuff was happening, but like my guitar got me through it, or this song got me through it. I listened to this artist, or even just writing a poem. Sometimes you're releasing something. So I started to say, I'm going to start something. I didn't even know what it was. I had a name. I had Believe in Music. Just the name came to me. I came back to Baltimore to just get with kids, and I started working. It was crazy. I was working with kindergarten through high school. So I didn't even know what I wanted to do.
How'd you get started? How'd you get in the room?
I got in the room by going to different nonprofits and just saying like, hey, I want to teach kids. And luckily the Bridge had a good reputation. Like, if there's one, like a piece of advice I always give people is just like, never do anyone wrong or have bad business. I've been doing the same business with the same people for now like over 20 years because I stand by my word.
Your reputation lasts your whole life.
Yeah, exactly. And the same people that were fans of the Bridge and coming to see the shows, well, some of them were teachers, and some of them had students that were like, oh, I'll give you a shot. How bad can it be? And it was bad in the beginning. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was constantly like a pilot. Like, we talked about this, just like in the beginning, you're learning, you're trying new things, you're throwing things and seeing what sticks. And I was a drummer. So I started with teaching drumming and rhythm and dancing, and it never clicked. Yeah. So, after so many failed attempts at doing a good job at a program, I realized that my sweet spot was really like 8th grade to high school kids, and it was more about computers. The kids really excel at learning technology, and there's software now that makes creating music very intuitive and very easy. Like when we were younger, I mean, I'm a little older than you, but when we were younger, even even when you were younger, you did not have the technology available that's available today. If you wanted to even make a recording of yourself on guitar, you'd have to like get a tape deck
Sure.
and hit record on the
Yeah.
tape deck and sing into it. Or if you were lucky enough, you could afford a 4-track, or
Right.
you know, maybe you knew someone that had a studio that had a couple mics and you were lucky.
I did.
But right, neither did I.
Right.
You know? But now the technology is available that I could make a symphony on my laptop and play it for you, and you would think it's a real symphony.
Yeah.
There's no more boundary between like anything you dream, you can digitally create now, and it's easy and it's intuitive. So these kids, they pick up computer programming so fast. They've been like playing with phones and looking at
Yeah.
screens their whole lives. Things that were taking me a month to figure out, they would learn in an afternoon because they're just so intuitive with programming. So I started to really be like, all right, I need to, enough people like you do a really good job at teaching instruments and teaching guitar or teaching drums. Like, but no one in Baltimore was teaching music this way. And then as I did more research, I realized like really no one in the world is on a mass level. Like you could pay someone for private lessons,
Sure.
or use a help you know, through the software.
Right.
But you're really just learning the software, you're not learning music.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so what I'm saying is, okay, give a kid a guitar. What are the first things they're going to learn? What is, like, let's just say it's their first day, and fingering is not an issue anymore because you don't need to think. It's all just the musical concepts. So you say, what is a note? What is this note in relation to this note? What is the rhythm that this note and that note are in? And all modern software is actually in a grid.
Yeah.
So when you create music now, like when you look at your guitar and you're thinking about intervals, you're actually, at least for me, I'm visualizing the frets, and
Sure.
I'm visualizing, you know, what those changes are using frets. The modern technology is so that it's just in a plain, easy grid. So it's super easy to see a half step is just one step up, or a whole step is just 2 steps up.
Yeah.
And it has a note correlation. And they're all in this easy to map out rhythm and a grid that you can change. Like if you want it to be a triplet grid, you just tap a button. So you could program complex musical ideas on your very first day without having any knowledge at all of music theory or anything at all.
It's unbelievably fascinating.
And it's scary though, because in the wrong hands, you're just going to have like really shitty music, you know, because
Yes,
it's
yes.
too easy and
Yes.
too intuitive
Yes.
that everyone thinks that they can learn a shortcut or two and make music. The problem with that is that they're skipping the concept. So what we do now, Believe in Music, or really focusing on, we still are, you know, kids are writing songs, composing songs, but we start from the beginning where they're learning music theory, the same things and concepts they would learn on a violin in 3rd grade, or a guitar as they look on the
Yeah.
internet and want to learn specific things. They're learning in a grid. And it actually, some people think it's cheating, but it works.
But they're responding to it is the point.
They're responding to it, and they're actually creating and composing what I consider to be like innovative and creative music.
Yeah.
Because like I said, there's no, I know you don't want to hear this, but I could program a guitar line now, because I'm good at using software, way easier than I could at playing it. And if I played it for you, you would think it was a guitar player.
Yeah.
You can't tell anymore. There's no, the sampling and the technology is so good that you could not tell. Like I could,
Especially if it's in a mix.
yeah, but even if it's not, like I could look up your exact guitar
Yeah.
and find the samples of this exact Taylor guitar that you play.
Yeah.
And they have specific micings. I can choose whether I want a close miking of it, a far away room sound of it. I can choose every nuance.
And you just
of
click
it.
the button.
Exactly. And if I programmed a line, They actually add the pick noise. They add the
Get out of here.
Yeah, you would not be able to tell. If it's a whole step, I can
Like
make
you can
it,
do slides.
I can make a slide.
You can
I can
bend?
do hammer-ons, bends. It's so advanced, the technology, and people don't know this because it's a nuance. It's like
Sure.
it's like someone learning guitar. It's like, okay, I can learn a G chord, but then you can take that G chord and go so deep into it
Sure.
with every variation and every, so people aren't using the software to that degree unless they're making movie soundtracks, or really like
Yeah.
the nuances of it are out there. But there's people who get so deep into their sound engineering construction and digitally able to, if you gave me 10 minutes, I could program a guitar part for you and play it for you, and you'd be like, that's my guitar, that's me playing, and could play the two back and forth and let the audience judge, and they'd be like, what, who's
Well, what's so neat about that too is that if you're teaching the theory behind it and how it all kind of goes together, with rhythm, harmony, and melody, they can use the software and they can use it for any instrument. They can make it. Kind of makes me wonder
exactly
what I would create if I got good at it, because I think about everything in terms of this. My music theory is imprinted in this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like it's hard for me to go on other instruments and to not relate it back to here and then send it back to the new instrument.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
but if you think about it just like as a concept on a grid, it's like this beautiful canvas now where if you did hear a cello part, 10 years ago, you want to program that cello part, people would hear it and go, that cello part sounds like shit. It's a sample of like a crappy cello. But now people would be like, wow, what a beautiful part. Like you can't tell. It's like an invisible wall that's done now that, like, if you got good at programming, your knowledge of theory would just help you so much. And it just takes a little bit to turn the corner. And so many of my musician friends are now picking up what I use. Ableton's the main software.
I say Ableton's the main thing you use.
Yeah, that's just personal preference. They're all great. But I think Ableton's always been one step ahead of everyone. So I've always you want to be the future. You don't want to be learning the past.
Sure.
And Logic, which is a whole other conversation, they've gotten into this like CGI, it's just crazy. The technology that they've ran with is completely different in a different way, like an intuitive, like you can write a chord progression and record it with your guitar, and you want drums to it, you just can go to a catalog of drummers and read their profiles. So you could be like, oh, Jay is a jazz drummer who, is a little sloppy, but went to 2 years of Berklee before getting kicked out, or so-and-so.
Get out of here.
I swear to God. You pick the profile, and
these are people.
Well, they're computer generated people.
Right, but
yeah, this is how easy it is to make music now. And this is
so you can literally get drummers with the same beat in different feels.
Exactly.
Different
you pick
different
the feel,
drum
you
sounds.
Pick how busy you want them. You just say, I want this song to be really busy, ton of fills, and then every 2 measures there's like a monster fill in there or whatever, just because you're literally and it's just a click.
And the sound's perfect, timing's perfect.
Oh my God. And if your guitar's a little off, they just quantize it for you. So it's like making music is getting easier and easier, but that's why it's more and more important.
And what about
to learn the actual skills, because it's so easy to make shitty music now.
Yeah.
And the last thing that anybody wants, you, me, or anyone in the world, is 10 years from now, music to be so diluted and shitty because computers have made it so easy to make, where they have this new thing they just put out, like Apple put out, there's whole tracks that are completely computer generated. Completely made by computers.
Humans had no part in it.
No part. And that's not cool to me. That's too far.
Yeah.
I'm anti that. I want music is about expression and what us as humans communicate. It's communication and expression. And it's cool that technology's gone that far, but it's also dangerous, because what we don't want is like artificial intelligence music becoming what's so popular. And in a way, unfortunately, pop music becomes so formulaic in so many ways that a lot of times it already is.
Yeah.
You know, this like formula is already generated. So that's a you know, we talk about that all the time. Believe in music. It's just like, if we're going to be teaching this grid, if you're going to have the keys to every sound, to every variation, to the sounds of robots fighting, you know, the kids want to make EDM and dubstep, and to me it sounds like robots arguing. It's above my you know, taste level. But if they're going to do it, at least let's do it good. Let's give them, like, let's make it expressive. Let's add feeling to it. Let's add that human element.
We teach them how they can do that.
Yeah. And just, it's not just a guess. It's because it's purposeful. The same way, you know, this is the same goal. And I'm certainly not there on my mandolin at all, or maybe I don't think I ever was, but the goal should be to be able to express exactly what you're feeling or thinking in the moment. And when it's so easy to do on a computer, it's actually like, it's harder in a way, because like you said, with your knowledge now, like imagine you have a blank canvas.
Yeah.
What would you do? Where do you even start?
Yeah. Well, see, and I also am curious to see how the connection is made between you know, actually performing and doing live stuff versus just creating and writing. Because it sounds like what we're talking about is, you know, okay, these kids are trying to get stuff in their head out, you know, and if they understand the theory and the rhythm and how melody works, and they can figure it out in a grid. But then so much of what we do as an instrument is for that live improv in the moment. Do people use this stuff live?
Yes. So that's,
and what's that like?
It's interesting. Again, I'm 40, so kids will understand this a lot better. I
literally know nothing about it.
Well, you go see a lot of these big artists that are huge, and I mean like some of the biggest artists of the day, and it's just them and their laptop.
Yeah.
And Ableton is actually called Ableton Live for that reason. It's meant to be used in a live setting.
Okay.
It's actually software that's designed for programming, composition, but it has a whole performance element to it. So,
but it has to be essentially loop based, right?
It can be. A lot of what DJs or producers do is loop based, and if, I mean, not to get too technical, but Ableton is built that way, so it can be loop based.
Yeah.
But there is also elements that aren't loop based that are more like if you've used Pro Tools, like more of like a, you know, like a actual arrangement of a song, and things can change and not have to be in the same like amount of measures as a loop would be.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, most of it is loop. You know, I think a lot of music today is, I mean, I always say this to people: when's the last time you saw a band that didn't have a computer in the band, or some sort of triggered something?
It's hard to find.
Yeah, and it's
getting harder to find.
Yeah, I mean, especially for younger acts, you know, like you go see a bunch of people my age play, there's probably not going to be a laptop in the band. But if you watch, you know, any younger band or professional band, they're at least playing some sort of backing track, click track, some sort of computer element. And that's just sort of taken over. It's just become common. It's become, you know, like, it's just crazy to think of how fast technology moves, because 10 years ago, that wasn't the case. 20 years ago, they didn't even have computers that made music yet in that way.
It's amazing how fast it happens.
Yeah. And then, it's just crazy. So now everything is becoming digitized. And
well, let me ask you this too. I'm also thinking that, like, you know, if everything is done digital, you can probably have these programs just spit out the lead sheets and sheet music.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted to hire a band or go record in a studio with the full band, and you, as the writer, not knowing how to do any of that, if it's all digital,
it's exactly
it'll probably just spit it out. Say, here you go, here's the music.
Yep. Finale. There's specific software that's exactly for that reason. It's still a little, it's not perfect yet. See, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
well, how could it be perfect? But still,
I bet you in 5 years it will be perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people are sitting there every day and
Trying to
coding
figure
these
that out.
things to make it. And there's nothing like, I mean, like I've worked with some amazing string and horn arrangers who are faster than computers.
Yeah.
Like you just give them an idea and they say, give me 2 seconds. They sit down, boom, 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 boom. And it's like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't think computers will ever replace that, but as an idea, as a way to, like, if I'm creating my own horn arrangement and I don't have 4 horns, but I know how to program and I like the sound of this specific harmony, or I want to try a weird harmony that's not normal and I just want to hear what it sounds like. I'm like, oh, well, maybe if I do this with like the trombone, it would be, you know, sound ridiculously cool. And I'll try it. I can just try it right there and go, oh, that's terrible. Or, oh, that's really cool. But like as a composition tool, it's so valuable because it is really quick. And if you're fast at it, like kids are these days, or people that program music, they don't have to spend the time. There's no trial. It's like well, like for instance, when you're in a band, someone has an idea, you're like, oh, why don't we try this? You actually have to play the song and try it and then sit and evaluate it.
Yeah.
If you're lucky enough, you record it, you have to stop, go back, listen to the tape. Where if you have an idea and you're composing on a laptop, you're just like, oh, how does this sound? Oh, that sounds like shit. Boom, erase, you know, like start over. Or just drag it up like, oh, like the third sounds like really good there. But for some whatever reason, you know, like I can just click on that and just drag it up and like, let's see how it sounds, you know, on the 5 or whatever. You know, it's just so simple.
You can just move it.
Yeah, you literally click on it and drag it up. So you can, the trial and error is so much faster, and it allows for, like, if you were to make a composition of a full band arrangement of one song in a day, and you're in this beautiful studio and you lay your drum tracks, you lay your bass tracks, you lay guitar, you add your banjo, you add your whatever, you're going around the room with all these cool toys you have in here, and you're layering, that could take a full day.
Sure.
Where the same thing, programming, will take you 10 minutes. It's kind of crazy.
Kind of makes me think I need to explore this.
I've converted a lot of people, man. I'm like the Ableton, like, and I get a lot of thank yous because it's just people don't understand the amount of how
efficient it is
and how good it sounds now. It's like you used to be able to tell, and you'd be like, this sounds like crap. These are like programmed, but like just same as your drum set you got sitting over there. I could probably look at the model of your drum set.
Yeah.
And get that exact same thing.
Mess with different microphone and microphone placements.
Exactly. And it's all there. Like everything's been sampled now. There's very rare, like, it's like they have like dumb didgeridoos or whatever. And like if you want anything like Guatemalan folk, you know, instrument you never even heard of, it's on there, you know.
Gotcha. That is mind blowing. Anyhow,
sorry, that was
no.
Rant there.
It's good. So just for guys that are just tuning in here, I see some questions. So I'm going to take some in a second.
Okay, cool. I love questions.
Yeah. Kenny Liner, his organization is called Believe in Music, and basically they work with kids here in Baltimore to use technology.
Yep.
Ableton is the main basic software, but teach them the theory, you know, the rhythm, the melody, harmony that goes into music. Teach them how to apply that to technology.
Yeah, and
in the grid.
And also engineering too, because if you don't know how to use a microphone or understand the basis of music engineering, a lot of it's lost too.
Yeah. Well, let's see if we have any good questions here. Oh, hey Mike, how's it going?
That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Let's see. People want to hear a computer-generated track that I make.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That would be interesting.
I can set that up.
That would be fun.
Ableton Live version is free but you can't share what you make.
Oh, is that how it is?
Yeah, they make a free software you can download just so you get hooked.
So yeah,
you can't save anything you make.
Yeah, so one person here is saying that, you know, a common usage for Ableton Live is, you know, they put samples from it via MIDI into a keyboard for live performances.
Yes.
Just so they have all that stuff.
It's true.
Oh, let's see if we got something, anything over here. Oh, I just switched it. Yeah, people are not expecting to talk about Ableton Live.
Sorry, guys. I'm
That
living in computer world.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. So, guys, why don't you come on? If you have any more questions, put them up here. We'll play another one, and we'll see what we get here. So let me just flip this around.
This is a song by a computer. I'm just kidding.
Why? How did this get all messed up? God damn it. Well, it's going to be all you, Kenny. There you go. Actually, I know what we'll do. Guys, if it's on Facebook and it looks a little messed up, feel free to go over to YouTube. Just search Guitar Gate on YouTube. All right, give me some changes. What are you doing?
Can we try the Django Reinhardt minor swing song? Is that too?
What are you in?
I think it's D minor to G minor and then A7, and then the turnaround is just E7, like
E7.
G minor, E7, A7, I think, or
Okay.
A minor maybe. But like the head is like 1, 2, 3, good.
I missed it. Take another one. I gotta think about it. Yeah.
There you go. I'm gonna try to play the double solo. Terrible.
You caught me off guard with that one.
I'm horrible.
Yeah, I'm like, throw me some changes. He's like, that's too little change, Brian.
Just want to show everybody my rock climbing hands here. That's rock climbing hands. See that? It's not really meant for mandolin. It's meant for rocks.
Well, dude, this has been fun, man.
Yeah, thank you for
Where-
having me.
oh, you're
I
so
really
welcome.
Appreciate it. It's
Where
really
can people find you?
cool.
Do you wanna be
I live
found?
in Baltimore. I live near. Yeah, I love being found if anybody's, you know, I'm always looking for friends. My website is www.webelieveinmusic.com.
We'll tag it.
Yeah, and I'm on the internet. I'm Kenny Liner. I'm like on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm kind of easy to find. Like people are always asking me for business cards, and I'm like, oh, you can find me. I mean, I'm around. It's like if you really care, just hit Google, right? You know, it's like, when's the last time you like hit somebody up? You got their business card. It's like you could find them. They're just Google, you know. So I'm around. Kenny Liner, hit me up. This is awesome. Good luck on your journey of guitar or music. And if you'd like to have a career in music, it's definitely possible. It just, you got to grind. That's my advice. Like I said, that's what I tell my students every day. It's like, if it's not working, it's probably because you're not working hard enough. So like the people that are successful, like you, are the people that put in, I mean, this is real work to do what you do.
Dude,
so
yeah.
you know, it takes it. So put in the effort. If you want to be a great guitar player, hours and hours, and eventually, like, lock yourself in a room. But when you come out of that room with that guitar, you're probably going to get girls or boys or whatever you're looking for, because
Maybe both.
yeah, well, you put in the work and the benefits are plentiful. That's all I'm saying.
Well, we will leave it at that.
And sorry about the Ableton talk, if that like was
No. Actually,
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
that's one of the reasons I wanted you to come and talk about
Okay,
what you
cool.
do, because, you know, at the end of the day, what's happening is that people are still doing it. People are making a living or just having fun, whatever their goals are,
Yeah.
using new technology.
It's
And
true.
like you said, we didn't have any of this stuff. And
No.
now you can get it for, I'm sure you can get everything you need for under $1,000,
Yeah.
if not half of
Almost
that.
free. Yeah, if you're smart enough. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not going to say
And
that.
and you don't, and you can, and if you know basic music theory, you can make parts for any instrument.
Yep.
And you have good sounds, and you can even gig with it.
That's true.
So
Who needs a band?
yeah. So us purists be damned. The future is bright.
Yep. Amen. Thank you. I'll
Dude.
shake your hand. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Like I said,
Yeah.
I've been a fan for a while. I really appreciate you doing this.
Awesome. I love it. Bring me back. I'll come back.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.